Everything about the Philadelphia Eagles looks perfect right now: stacked roster, smart contracts, and millions in cap space. But what if that's exactly what makes this dangerous? Because behind the hype, cracks are forming, ones that could quietly derail everything before the season even begins. And the biggest problem, they might not fix it in time. The Philadelphia Eagles aren't just building a roster, they're playing a completely different game right now. On the surface, it looks like dominance: $28 million in cap space, key extensions already locked in, and one of the deepest rosters in the league. It feels like everything is under control. But that's exactly where things get interesting. Because this isn't just smart management, this is calculated positioning. Every contract, every restructure, every move has been designed to create flexibility, not just for today, but for something bigger that hasn't happened yet. And if you look closely, you can start to see it forming. Big names like Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith are already lined up for massive deals. The front office knows what's coming and they're preparing for it early. But even after accounting for those future extensions, there's still money left on the table. Which raises a serious question: why? Teams don't usually leave this much space unless they're waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right player, or maybe waiting for a situation around the league to collapse. And if that moment comes, it could completely change the Eagles' season overnight. The Philadelphia Eagles have built what looks like one of the most dangerous defensive cores in the entire league. On paper, it's everything you want: young, explosive, and already proven in big moments. But beneath that confidence, there's pressure building fast. Jalen Carter isn't just expected to be good anymore, he's expected to become dominant. The kind of player offenses have to game plan around every single week. And while the talent is undeniable, expectations like that don't come without weight. Every snap now matters more. Then there's Nolan Smith. When he's healthy, the impact is obvious: speed, energy, disruption. But that's the problem: staying on the field has been the biggest question, and in a defense this loaded, availability isn't optional, it's everything. The Eagles have locked in their core for the next few years, which sounds like stability. But in reality, it creates urgency. Because when you invest this much into a group, anything less than elite production starts to feel like a problem. This isn't just about potential anymore, it's about delivering right now. And if even one piece of that core falls short, the entire defense could feel it instantly. The Philadelphia Eagles have done almost everything right this offseason, except fix the one position that could quietly undo it all: safety. At first, it didn't seem like a major issue. There were options on the market, and some fans were holding out hope for a veteran like Justin Simmons to step in and stabilize the defense. But with his sudden retirement, that door slammed shut instantly. Now what's left isn't exactly reassuring. The Eagles are looking at a mix of late-round rookies, undrafted free agents, and depth players to fill one of the most important roles in Vic Fangio's system. And that's where things get risky. Because in this scheme, safeties aren't just support pieces, they're responsible for reading the entire field, preventing big plays, and cleaning up mistakes. Right now, there's no proven answer. Sure, there's potential, there's athleticism, but potential doesn't win games in January. And historically, undrafted players rarely step into starting roles and succeed immediately, especially at a position this complex. Which means unless something changes, this could become a real weakness fast. And that's exactly why the Eagles might be forced into a move they didn't plan. With the Philadelphia Eagles running out of reliable in-house options, the focus is quietly shifting towards something bigger: a potential trade. And the names being floated aren't random. Two players keep coming up: Justin Reed and Deshaun Elliott. Both bring experience, both understand complex defensive systems, and more importantly, both feel like calculated fits rather than desperation moves. Reed, in particular, has history tied to Philly interest, which makes this feel less like a new idea and more like unfinished business. But here, where it gets complicated. Reed has already pushed back on rumors surrounding his future, calling out speculation and making it clear he's not entertaining outside noise. And yet, situations like this change fast in the NFL. Teams shift direction, depth charts evolve, and suddenly a non-available player becomes very available. Meanwhile, Elliott offers familiarity with schemes similar to Fangio's, which could make the transition smoother. but also raises questions about ceiling versus stability. This isn't just about talent, it's about timing, leverage, and knowing when to strike. Because if the Eagles wait too long, they might lose control of the situation entirely. And while they're scanning the league for answers, something inside the organization is starting to shift. While most of the attention is focused on the roster, something much quieter and potentially more important is happening behind the scenes with the Philadelphia Eagles front office. Key figures are starting to leave. Not just minor roles either, these are trusted voices, advisors who played a real part in shaping contracts, cap strategy, and long-term planning. And when multiple people from that inner circle step away in a short span, it raises questions you can't just ignore. On the surface, this is what successful organizations deal with. When you're winning, other teams come calling. Talent gets poached, that's normal. But this situation feels a little different. Some departures don't fully line up with the usual promotion elsewhere story. There are hints of frustration, missed opportunities, and shifting priorities. And while none of it is officially alarming, it does introduce uncertainty into a system that's been running almost perfectly. Because for years, this front office hasn't just been good, it's been precise, calculated, consistent. Now even a small disruption could have ripple effects. And the biggest question is simple: can one man keep everything running at this level alone? Because if the foundation starts to shift, the impact won't stay behind the scenes for long. Last season's struggles for the Philadelphia Eagles weren't just about bad games, they hinted at something deeper. And now, those same questions are starting to resurface again. On paper, the drop-off made no sense. This was an offense loaded with talent, playmakers everywhere, a strong offensive line, and a system that had already proven it could dominate. But suddenly, production dipped, rankings fell, and consistency disappeared. So what really happened? Some pointed to execution, others quietly questioned the play calling. And then came subtle comments from coaches and players that didn't exactly align, nothing explosive but enough to suggest that not everyone was on the same page. That's where things get complicated. Because when an offense struggles, it's rarely just one issue. It's timing, communication, trust. And when those things start slipping even slightly, it shows up everywhere: missed reads, stalled drives, and predictable play designs. There were also moments where decision-making came into focus. Who was really in control? Who was setting the tone? And while the team managed to keep things from fully unraveling, the tension never completely disappeared. And just when it seemed like it was behind them, a new storyline began to take over. The A.J. Brown situation might be the most unexpected twist yet for the Philadelphia Eagles. Trade rumors are starting to build, and some reports suggest a future first-round pick could be on the table, possibly from the New England Patriots. At first, that doesn't sound shocking until you look deeper. If the Patriots struggle in the coming years, that pick could quietly turn into a top 10 selection. A massive long-term win, but a risky short-term gamble. And if this move actually happens, it could redefine the Eagles' entire future.